This is our speculation to the Godzilla vs. Kong movie that's going in theaters this November 20th, 2020. So, yeah, I would like to see. Um, well, it'd be nice to see three fight scenes with Godzilla vs. Kong. What do you think?
Mm, yeah, I'd say that would be good as long as the fight scenes are good.
Yeah,
A good, steady fight choreography, and none of that. Well, for CGI, they should be able to do more.
yeah,
I mean, the original movie, they were able to do a lot of good stuff, but you have to admit they were pretty limited, but they did good with what they had to work with.
yeah. The original Godzilla vs. King Kong movie, 1963.
Now, I'd say there should be no excuses because they can do far more with the monsters. They can do all sorts of crazy things with CGI and stuff if they can put some effort into it. And another thing I really want to see is a good, how should I say it? Nice, good wide shots so I can see what the monsters are actually doing. Instead of close up shots like they did in Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah, Godzilla King of the Monsters. They showed them. They showed what they showed. They cut away to the humans too many times. I have to say, I thought Godzilla 2014 showed more of the monster fighting than Godzilla King of the Monsters. And well, at the end, anyway, at the end of that movie, they showed them fighting, a full scene of them fighting. But Godzilla King of the Monsters, they show like you can hardly you see the you see the heads, you see the arms, you see the tails, and but you don't really see them going at it like in Godzilla 2014 or any other old Godzilla movies. Is that what you saw in there? Godzilla King of the Monsters? Yeah, they cut away the humans too much. Yeah, in that one.
Problem is, too much of the up close shots, they could barely see the monsters. And what's worse is, most of those scenes are at night.
Yeah, in the old Godzilla movies, though, in the day you can see
Granted,
them.
yeah, granted, you can see Rodan in the daytime in the military trying to fight with him. Okay, that was fine. The problem with that is with King Ghidorah, you don't get any of that. For some reason, they have a hurricane following him around. So it just makes it difficult for audiences to actually see what he's doing.
Hmm.
You just see shadow images of him. And then when you actually see the monsters fight, barely, because they always have it in dark shots.
Yeah, in the 2014 movie, when Godzilla fight both the Mutos, it was dark there too. You can barely see anything.
Mm. And they keep cutting away too much. Like they keep teasing the fight, not showing anything. And then when it comes to the very end, it's like, this is it.
Yeah,
So for the Godzilla King Kong movie, I'm hoping they'll have good choreography fights. Like I want to see some, I don't know, do something crazy with it. Apply some, maybe some pro wrestling stuff. Kong actually body slams Godzilla. Do some stuff like that. Godzilla tackles Kong right through a building. You know, put some scary stuff in there. You see a group of people trying to evacuate out of a building as the two monsters are charging right into each other that are at the building where those people are trying to get out of. Put some scary stuff in there. You know, make it exciting a little bit and
mm-hmm.
not try to focus it too hard on the humans because everybody is going to watch the movie for one thing and one thing only: Godzilla and Kong to fight. Anyone who just wants to see the humans, you're just watching the wrong movie.
Yeah. This is a big movie that might hit 1 billion worldwide. Well, when it comes to monster fans will go see this Godzilla vs Kong in 2020. So they have to pull the big guns out for this one, big fight scenes for this one for Godzilla vs Kong.
So it depends on what they do with it. I mean, like I said, it's really no excuses unless they decide to get all dumb about it and say, well, we're just building up to the big end and you don't really do much with it like they did with the 2014 movie it was,
Yeah, that was the one.
where they hardly do anything at all except finally show Godzilla uses heat ray, fire breath, whatever you want to call it, atomic breath. I'm well versed in the Godzilla movies.
Yeah, you're a Godzilla fan and or a monster fan in general.
Monster fan, Godzilla fan, pretty much similar. Seen enough Godzilla. Heck, I've seen them all and I got them all. So, for the Godzilla movies, or Godzilla vs. Kong, yeah, all I want is just good fight scenes between the monsters, good filming shots, good wide shots so I can see what the monsters are doing. No dark shots. You can have some nighttime scenes, but at least make it good enough so you can actually see what the monsters are doing. You know, focus on that. Of course, the movie's already done by now, or they're still working on it. I don't know what they're doing with it now. Probably trying to get a trailer ready. So I'm hoping that they'll have at least good fight scenes between the monsters. If there's only like 3 fight scenes in the entire movie between these two monsters, as long as they're good, um, and if there's just 2 fight scenes, you better make them good. Now, if it just turns out to be what do they call it, Batman versus Superman scenario where they hardly fight at all unless it's just one big scene towards the end. But that's a whole other issue. I won't even get into that. So for Godzilla vs Kong, the movie's called Godzilla vs Kong. I don't know if they changed the title or not. As far as I know, it's just called Godzilla vs Kong. So stick to that title. And also another thing that I really don't want to see is a team up between these two monsters. They're monsters. They're both alpha creatures, if you will. They're fighting for territory. They're fighting for dominance. So of course they're gonna fight each other until one either backs down, runs away back to his respected area, or they end up killing one another, or both, or the military finds a way to kill both of them. Whatever comes
Yeah,
first.
I heard a rumor that Mecha Godzilla might show up, and you see Godzilla versus Kong will team up against that. That's what I heard.
Mecha Godzilla. I wouldn't mind seeing Mecha Godzilla. It
And
depends
it
what
will
they.
be nice to see a Mecha Godzilla movie, but I don't know about Godzilla versus Kong movie. This should be they should stick to Godzilla versus Kong, just them two in this one movie instead of throwing in another monster. But unless they have Godzilla fight one monster in the beginning, or like in the middle, Kong fights another monster, and then at the end maybe Godzilla versus Kong. If they do it like that, what do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. So for the movie, I don't like the idea of having Godzilla and Kong teaming up. If you're just gonna call Godzilla meets King Kong, Godzilla meets King Kong, or King Kong meets Godzilla, whatever you want to go with, fine. It's a team up movie if you want to do it that way. But if you're gonna call it versus, make them fight. That's why it's called versus. A team up, in my opinion, is just plain stupid. I think it's stupid to have them team up, even if another monster gets in there. In my opinion, it should just be between Godzilla and Kong. They should be rivals. Fight to the death, or at least until one monster eventually gets beaten up and they don't want to fight no more. Like they did in the original King Kong versus Godzilla with the proper title.
Yeah, in that one they I remember like they had one confrontation in the beginning, and then they separate, and then you see them doing other stuff throughout the rest of the movie until at the end they come together and fight, and they have a one big like 20-minute fight. I think it was that long, a 20-minute fight or a 15-minute fight. I don't know how much long was the fight, but I have to look at that again. But it was a good long fight. That it was Godzilla versus Kong at the end, and then they had the movie hall. They like they get him in the areas in the beginning of the movie where they're from, and then they first round, the first round in the beginning, and then they separate, and then you see them doing other stuff in the middle, and then they come together at the end to fight finally. That was a pretty good movie, I say. Godzilla versus, versus King Kong, the original movie, 1963. They come together at the end to fight, and then that was it.